Mario Maker 2 added some new bosses to the game like the Koopalings, Boom Boom and Pom Pom, but there are way cooler bosses in the Mario universe that could still be added too. I already added some in the past like Speedy Piranha and the Monty Mole Tank, but what about bosses like Dry Bowser? Let's take a look at some more new ones in this video, but before we do, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's go! Bowser is the most famous Mario boss ever, and we can also find him in Mario Maker 2 of course. But some Mario fans, including myself, wanted to see one of Bowser's awesome variations in Mario Maker 2 as well, being Dry Bowser. This undead variant of Bowser would be great for some variation while creating a boss battle, so that's why I decided to recreate him for Super Smashy Maker. Because he is closely related to Bowser, I first rebuilt him before continuing with the dry one. Let's quickly go over it. First, I gave Bowser a damaging hitbox and a random walking and jumping pattern. We can't forget his fireballs either, which at first got stuck in the air like this, but was fixed quickly. We also don't want reversed fireballs or an unavoidable wall of fire. And that was Bowser basically done already, so let's now continue with his undead variation. Dry Bowser is practically a buffed version of normal Bowser. He has an extra attack as he can throw bones and fireballs do not affect him at all. Aside from that, he looks way cooler and so do his fireballs. To remake him, I first simply replaced the Bowser sprites and animations with those of Dry Bowser, and they look sick. After that, I gave him his blue fireballs too, which looks a bit better already. So right now, it's simply a reskin of Bowser, which isn't sufficient. That's why I started working on the bone throwing ability. As you can probably tell, my first attempt at this did not go very well as he just kept throwing bones over and over. On my second attempt, it looked a bit better already, but the bones still seemed very static. So on the third attempt, I gave it a dynamic animation and also made Dry Bowser hold the bone for a brief moment to warn the player that a bone will be thrown. On some occasions, he also liked to spin the bone around the entire time, which was a funny bug. So after all that, Dry Bowser was almost done. Now we still needed his death animation. For that, I got some cool sprites for Dry Bowser's dead head and empty shell. So when he dies, these sprites spawn in and start rotating as if he just got destroyed by Mario. I think that looks pretty cool. If Mario needs to fight this boss, he'll need a good meal to be at max strength. Luckily, this video is sponsored by Factor 75. With Factor 75, you can grow your fitness level and reach your goals as the used ingredients are very nutritious and purposeful. On top of that, they are all dietitian approved, which makes it even better. So I think Mario would go for some delicious sun-dried tomato chicken. Often, Mario is out on an adventure and doesn't really have time to cook. Luckily with Factor 75, you can save yourself a lot of time and stress. Factor's meals arrive pre-prepared and ready to eat in 2 minutes. Meal plans offer a variety with a rotating weekly menu of 34 plus meal options and 36 plus add-ons like smoothies, desserts, and more. Let's put it this way, no prep, no stress. Factor 75 offers meals for those looking to follow a keto, low-calorie, vegan, or vegetarian lifestyle too. Use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use code POGSMASHYMAY40 for 40% off plus 20% off your next month. Thanks to Factor 75 for sponsoring this video. Now that Mario has eaten a great meal, we're ready for the next boss. We all know Bowser has a son, Bowser Jr., but he never got an official dry variation, so I thought it would be cool to bring it to life, or death in this case. Just like before, I first recreated the normal Bowser Jr. I gave him his ability of jumping left and right randomly, as well as his fireball attack first. He can also use his shell attack of course, which on my first recreation attempt looked very bad and static, so I made it more dynamic too. Way better. The last thing that had to be added was the ground pound, which wasn't too difficult. So at this point Bowser Jr. was done. Let's continue with Dry Bowser Jr. now. Once again, the sprites looked awesome for this style and I was very happy with them. Just like Dry Bowser, I wanted to give Jr. the bone throwing ability, and once again, my first attempt was pretty awful. The bone would glitch out whenever Jr. entered his shell, like this, which is probably not ideal. There was also another big glitch where he would stay inside his shell forever, or where he would start jumping around and throwing fireballs inside his shell. After a couple more attempts, I fixed all these funny issues. Lastly, I added the death animation, which looked similar to the one for Dry Bowser. So what do you think about this buffed, undead version of Bowser Jr.? In Mario Maker 2, we can find Boom Boom in all the game styles, but this can be said about Pom Pom, who can exclusively be used in 3D worlds. So I took it upon myself to 2Dify her, starting with the SMB1 game style. Unlike the 3D world style, I made Pom Pom able to walk around before she starts teleporting to make her a bit less of a static enemy. So once Mario gets close enough, Pom Pom takes on this pose to clarify she's going to teleport away. Of course she also has to spawn out. That would be ugly without a cool effect, so I also added one. This is what it looks like when combined, which looks quite good. When she despawns in 3D worlds, a trail of smoke indicates where she is at. This effect had to be recreated too, and after a couple of minutes of testing and improving, I feel like I got a good recreation of it. After that was done, I started working on the shuriken attack, for which I got some cool looking sprites. First, I made Pom Pom throw a shuriken in Mario's direction. Then I gave it a spinning animation, but that didn't look very good at all. So I decided to simply make it smoothly rotate instead for now. After the shuriken is thrown, Pom Pom stands still for a bit so Mario has a chance to hit her. After a couple of seconds, she teleports away again. As you can see, she moves somewhere above Mario. That's where she needs to split up and create clones of herself, so let's do that. First I had to create the clones of course, which was quite easy actually. I only had to swap out the pink shuriken for the grey one, just like it differentiates them in Super Mario Maker 2. I also made sure to disable the hitboxes for Pom Pom when she spawns out, so this does not happen. Spawning in the clones wasn't all that difficult to implement, aside from this little mistake I made. I accidentally made a clone spawn in each frame, which makes the game lag very hard and creates a crazy effect. I was able to quickly fix it though, and made only one clone spawn in, only not at the right spot yet. I first made sure that the original Pom Pom teleported correctly back onto the ground, which was successful. Then I made the clone teleport to a good location like this. I also added a randomizer which makes the locations of Pom Pom and her clones unpredictable. Depending on the amount of times Pom Pom has been hit by Mario, the clones increase to a max amount of 3. Here is what it looks like for 2 clones, and this is how it looks for 3 clones. So that means Mario needs to be able to jump off of Pom Pom. If that happens, she gets squished and spawns out after a couple of seconds. The remaining clones also despawn if Mario jumps off the original Pom Pom. After that, she starts her normal behavior again. For the third and last hit, she fully despawns and she dies. I also had some sprites for Pom Pom inside her shell, but I didn't really have any ideas of implementing it to her ability set in 2D. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. I also quickly took some time to remake Pom Pom of course. I did not really encounter any bugs or glitches while doing so, which was a real relief after coding Pom Pom. And as always, the Mad Lad is quite easy to defeat. Now, Pom Pom and Pom Pom can attack Mario together, not only in 3D, but also in 2D. What a wholesome family moment. Next to that, I wanted to let you know that my last video on Super Smash Maker was in fact an April Fool's joke. So shout out to everyone who fell for it, which is about this many people. Yeah, that's a lot. Awesome, isn't it? All these bosses would be a cool addition to any Mario Maker game. You can also leave your boss suggestions for Super Smash Maker in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.